Hello, my name's Mark Holmes. I'm the editorial director of Via Satellite, the sister publication of the Satellite Conference and Exhibition. Today, I'm joined by two people I know very well, Jenn Heinold, Senior Vice President at Access Intelligence, and Lindsey Fuller, Satellite Show Director. The aim of this discussion is to provide you with an update on the new dates and location of the 2021 Satellite Conference and Exhibition and our exciting plans for this event. So let's jump in. Jenn, so we recently announced the change of Satellite to September 7th, September 10th at the Gaylord National Convention Center. Good to be going back. Good to have a satellite show in September with some good weather. Can you talk us through how this decision was made?
Of course, Mark. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us today. As you know, and as we've shared with the satellite community, we were meeting very regularly with the leadership of the Walter E. Washington Convention Center, as well as the city leaders in DC. And we were really just focused on understanding their reopening plans and making sure that we can hold satellite safely. We were bolstered early on in the fact that DC's been a leader in safety. They installed thermal screening throughout the convention center. They were the first convention center on the East Coast to be GBAC certified. And they built out a really extensive safety plan for us to follow. However, as a city, Washington, D.C. has been through a lot. And, they really have some unique challenges being the seat of the federal government. Their vaccination rates have been lagging, compared to the rest of the United States. And that really was a key indicator for us to be able to host satellite in Washington, D.C. In our last meeting with the city's leadership a few weeks ago, they told us that they were going to make vaccinating their residents their #1 priority, and rightfully so. So at that time, we were notified of the city's inability to host us this year. Immediately after that, we called the Gaylord National because they've been a phenomenal partner and host for us in the past. And they had 1 week available, the week of September 6th. So we took that, and we're really excited to be at Gaylord National this year in September.
Absolutely. Delighted to go back. I'm sure many people are asking why we chose to hold the event actually right after Labor Day and Rosh Hashanah, and during obviously a very busy month. It's looking to be for events in the industry. So maybe you can just sort of explain a little bit of the thinking behind that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we've definitely heard that feedback. And, as I mentioned, it was literally the 1 week that we could hold satellite was the week of September 6th. So while there are some challenges, as you outlined, we've also heard from many people that they feel more comfortable traveling in September versus July. And that's been great news because people have been able to revisit their plans and, can now attend because the event's been pushed a little bit.
Now, as we know, this is the second date change for the 2021 event. I'm sure a few people will be asking, could there actually be another date location change in Satellite's future before the September 2021 event gets here?
No, I really don't anticipate another change, but listen, I've wanted to have a crystal ball for the last 15 months as pretty much everybody in this industry has, right? So we feel really confident though, with the Gaylord and with Maryland's reopening plans. They've put forth an excellent plan to vaccinate their citizens. And, we hear from the governor that he anticipates the state being completely reopened without any restrictions by September. So, the Gaylord to open July 1st. They're holding their first event the first week of July. They're already got their staff back for planning purposes and are ready to go. So we feel very confident in satellite in September at the Gaylord National.
Excellent. Let me go on to Lindsey now. I know you and your team have spoken to a number of participants and supporters of Satellite. What's been the feedback so far?
Yeah, so we have spoken to, our exhibitors, our attendees, our speakers, our partners of Satellite, since the announcement of the new dates. And honestly, there's been an overwhelming relief that Satellite is being held in person. Yeah, I think we're very lucky that this community is very understanding and that they have been very flexible with the changes that we've had to make. I think everyone knows that the situation with the pandemic, is out of our hands. And I can't say enough how appreciative we are with how flexible everyone's been with the changes we have to make. Um, as Jenn mentioned before, we're also hearing a lot of people are a lot more comfortable with the September dates than they are with July, that they feel there's a greater possibility, for them to be able to travel and to have been vaccinated by the time that week in September rolls around.
I mean, one thing we all enjoy about the satellite show is that the whole experience of the show, that 4 days always goes tremendously fast. What kind of experience can exhibitors and attendees expect on site this year?
Yeah, Satellite 21 marks our 40th anniversary, and it's certainly going to be a little bit different on site with safety protocols that we need to put in place. But honestly, I don't expect the excitement on site and that feel that everyone has when they're together to be diminished when we're at Satellite in September. Um, our content program is still very full. There is lots to talk about. There is lots to present at in the program. We are still, facilitating that networking among the community. We're working on receptions and how we're going to hold those in a safe manner. We're working on putting together different meetups so people can connect with other attendees in smaller groups. And we have our mobile app. So for people who maybe don't want to be in a reception, they can still connect with other people through that platform and interact with those who are at Satellite. Um, I know that there's going to be different situations, for people based on, restrictions within their country or perhaps their own personal situations. So we are holding a hybrid experience for Satellite in 21 as well, with digital programs leading up to the event as well as a digital program after.
You spoke a little bit there about the digital programs, and I know I mean, for example, we've just had our Leo Digital Forum in April, and that's been a big talking point in the industry. Lots to talk about the constellations. An exciting time, very much an inflection point for our industry. Can you maybe sort of explain also, the digital component and really the new exciting stuff that we're looking to present to the industry this year?
Sure. So, with the situation that we're in, I think this presented an opportunity for us to really take satellite and take that satellite experience beyond the in-person event. I think everyone can agree there is more content and more topics, that we can discuss inside the industry than we have time for at the in-person event. So much is changing with the satellite industry. So we did create programs, digital programs leading up to the in-person event. We did have our Leo event in April, as you mentioned, and we have another digital program in mid-May focused on the EMEA and Asia regions. And then we have another digital program July 26th through the 29th, that is the Future Space Digital Forum. And these three programs were really built around key parts of the industry and are meant to extend the conversation, not replicate the conversation that's in person. So really we're creating this year-long holistic experience for our attendees. We also have a digital program following the in-person event. We're calling it Satellite Digital Encore. This is taking all of that content that's happening in person, and we will be recording it and releasing it during Digital Encore. So for those people that I mentioned before that either their countries have restrictions on them traveling or their personal situation just doesn't allow them to be in person, they can still be a part of these discussions and still experience this content on that platform. We are also putting together some new sessions and new topics that we will also release during Digital Encore. We're working on the details of that right now, and we should be able to release that in the coming weeks. That way everyone will see, what content we'll have during that program. It's also a one pass gets you access to everything. So when you register for the Executive All Access Pass, you get all of the digital content, you get the in-person content. You can really experience everything Satellite has to offer with just that one pass. And for all of the digital programs, everything's available on demand. So even if you can't make those specific programs, or if you come in a little bit later, you can go back and see all of those sessions.
Great, plenty of stuff to look forward to. But I think this show will be actually one of the first events that a lot of people will be going to since the pandemic started. So I think let's talk a little bit about some logistics and some more practical issues. So let's talk about like hotel rooms and reservations for a start. For those that made those in DC, what's going to happen there?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, hotels has been, a big question because a lot of people already started planning for their time in July and made hotel reservations through our housing partner, MCI, in DC. We are trying to make this transition as seamless as possible for our participants. So any reservations that were made through MCI in DC were automatically transferred over to the Gaylord. At this point, everyone should have received a new confirmation. Nothing is needed on their end. If they haven't, you can certainly reach out to MCI. Their contact information is on our website. We've also opened up our block at the Gaylord. So if you haven't made your hotel reservations yet, that's okay. We've got that all set. If you just go to satshow.com, there's a housing link directly on our website that they can make any hotel reservations.
Okay, let's also talk about safety protocols, because this is going to be important to everyone, even those of us who've may have just got our vaccinations and are traveling for the first time. We all want to meet in a safe manner, and I've worked at Access Intelligence for many years. It's a world-class events company. Talk about the company's commitment to safety and what we'll be doing at Satellite to make sure the experience is great for all those involved from a safety standpoint.
Mark, I can speak to that. Our commitment to safety and the well-being of our community is paramount in our event planning. We've created a very detailed safety plan, and that really serves as our unified playbook. Our vendors have that plan, our venue has the plan, and our staff refers to that plan. And it really sets the expectations and standards for how we'll be implementing disinfection and any social distancing at the event. While we weren't hosting events in person last year, we also really invested in our on-site operations team. So we sent them to earn their GBAC technician certification, and GBAC, which I mentioned earlier, stands for the Global Biorisk Advisory Council, and they've set the standard for cleaning and disinfecting protocols for any major venue. So airports are following this, sports and concert facilities, as well as convention centers. So our team's been trained on how to implement those standards and make sure that everybody they interface with is using that standard as well. Beyond that, the Gaylord National Convention Center is part of the Marriott family, and they follow Marriott's commitment to clean, which is truly industry leading. So we feel very confident that we've put a strong plan in place to meet safely in September.
Thank you, Jen, for that. Let me go back to Lindsey, because I want to talk a little bit about the changes for Satellite and how that'll affect some of our exhibitors. Obviously, with a new venue, I suspect comes a new floor plan. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so we do have a new floor plan, and we do have that floor plan, available on our website for anyone that wants to take a look at it. We're back to a more, horizontally oriented floor plan as opposed to the vertical that we were in Halls D&E. But we have plotted all of our exhibiting companies on the floor plan, so everyone is available in the directory listing. We're also continuing to field a lot of new requests for companies that want to exhibit at Satellite. So if you're interested and you're considering, check out our floor plan on our website. Obviously, there's also a host of new sponsorship opportunities that people can also find on our website as well.
Okay, and just sort of following on from that, what about companies that have already placed orders with Freeman or other vendors when we were in DC?
Yeah, so any orders that were placed with the DC Convention Center have been canceled, and our exhibiting companies will need to place new orders with the Gaylord and with vendors, at the Gaylord. We are working on the exhibitor service manual right now. Usually that takes us a few months to pull together, but we're working hard to do within a few weeks, and expect that to be live. About mid-May, it'll be in the Exhibitor Resource Center. Any orders placed with Freeman will transfer over to the new venue. Again, we're trying to make this transition as seamless as possible for everyone who's participating in the show.
Okay. I mean, when I speak for me personally, I believe it's now been 18 months since I've been to an event. It seems almost from a different era now, and I'm sure we're all looking forward to going to Satellite. I'm sure a lot of people that are watching this video are going to be interested in what type of audience we might expect and the registrations that we might be getting for this event. Can you offer up any detail on that?
Yeah, I can. I think right now, attendance is looking very good from our registration numbers. Honestly, I think this is a reflection of everyone being eager to get back to business and get back to face-to-face events. Again, with the move to September, I think some people who maybe were on the fence in July feel much more comfortable coming to the event in September. So, we've seen, very healthy interest and very healthy registrations for the event so far. As I mentioned before, we know that there's going to be, certain countries that potentially are still under travel restrictions, but as of right now, about 24% of our registrations are coming from countries outside of the US. I think this is mainly the people who are either already vaccinated or expect to be vaccinated by September and know that they'll be able to travel and be able to take part in face-to-face events again.
No, thank you. Let's maybe talk a little bit further out. I mean, it'll be great to come to Satellite 2021. I think while we've all appreciated being at home, having more time with our family and loved ones, I think we also appreciate being part of this community as well. We know that this is a tremendous community in terms of what it brings to people on Earth. We talk about space as something in the sky and thousands of miles in orbit, but actually it has very real impacts on people on Earth. It connects the unconnected. It brings an equaling of society in many ways by allowing people to enjoy the benefits of a connected and smart society. I'm sort of interested, we talk about September and that's not that far away, but also, let's be honest, Satellite 2022 isn't that far away either. Can you tell us a little bit about the plans for that as we go into next year?
Yeah, so Satellite 22 will be back in DC, and it's going to be back in March as well. So it'll be March 21st through the 24th. I think we can all agree that, the past year and the remainder of 21, just has kind of wreaked havoc on the events calendar within the satellite industry and across many industries, honestly. I think we're looking forward to 22 when, you'll have a full year of events and we'll get back to a much more normal event calendar for our industry. Again, we all know that there is not a shortage of things to talk about. I think this industry is constantly innovating and changing and having new things that we need to talk about and we want to talk about. So, even though we've got Satellite 21 in September and then, Satellite 2022 in March, there's going to be a full docket of things that we're going to want to talk about. And you're going to see, as you always do, a new and, completely unique conference program that we'll be putting on in March.
Excellent. Well, we look forward to that. Now, I always, when I do these conversations, as everybody knows, I like to end on a fun question. So what could I ask you? Could I ask you what you've been binge watching? Could I ask you about your favorite concert? Could I ask you something a little bit different? So one of the interesting things, obviously, we're going back to the Gaylord, and it's been a little while since we've been there. I'd like to ask you both, where's the first place in the National Harbour to enjoy a nice meal or grab a drink with friends? Name us one of the places that we could be sort of hanging out in September. Obviously, I'm aware that there's I'm not sure there's an English fish and chips place there for me, but maybe you can make one or two other recommendations for places to hang out. So, Jen, we want to go first with this one? Where we going to hang out in National Harbour in September?
Well, I would love to have a margarita on the rocks at Rosa Mexicana. They have this gorgeous deck that overlooks the Potomac. And, for all the years, Mark, that we've done satellite in the snow, I think we're deserving of a little sunshine and a margarita together.
Excellent. Lindsay, what's your recommendation for us?
Yeah, so first I will tell you, Mark, they do have an English pub house, so you might be able to get your fish and chips there.
You know where I'll be.
And they do have a new Irish pub that's going to be opening up in National Harbor as well. It should be open by September. Maybe I'll stick along the lines of fish and chips, but I think for me it's probably the Walrus Oyster and Ale House. They do amazing seafood. They have Maryland crab cakes. So when in Rome, come get some Maryland crab cakes out there. I think in addition to being good food, just like Jen said, September, the weather is going to be phenomenal here. So they have a really nice patio area, whether you're sitting down for a meal or just kind of reconnecting with old friends for a drink or two. It's a great spot to really just kind of unwind and enjoy, what's going to be great weather for satellite.
Excellent. Well, I'd like to thank Lindsay and Jen for taking the time to talk to us today. I know many of you had those questions. I hope we've answered all of those questions as relates to the satellite show in September. It is going to be a fantastic event. It always is. It's been a pillar of our community for many years, and it's great to be part of this community. It's a community, as I said, that even though we talk about things thousands of miles away from Earth, it actually makes a very real world difference to the people living on Earth. So it'll be great to start those conversations up again. It'll be great to see the community and be a part of it. We've all loved Zoom or Teams. Maybe we haven't, but we've got used to it. We've got used to video conferences and seeing people in a different way. But it'll be nice to see everybody back in Washington. So just a reminder, the satellite show this year will take place September 7th to September 10th. It's going to be a great event. It's going to be almost like a renaissance, a rebirth after everything we've been through over the last year. We look forward to seeing you there. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mark.